Climate change refers to the long-term shifts of temperature and weather patterns. So climate change can be caused by nature, but since the 1800s, human activities has been the main driver of climate change. So these human activities can be like the burning of fossil fuels like coal and oil, the intensive agricultural activities, and land use changes in the world like deforestation. So climate change is caused by these human activities like the burning of fossil fuels, the increased intensity of agricultural activities, and land use. So, based on my research through Earth Client Communications, Hamburg, and Newman, I have come to the conclusion, based on their human activity effects and their effects of climate change, that human activities are the main pusher of climate change and the increased damage of our atmosphere. So, climate change is caused by the increase of humans burning fossil fuels. So the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, the IPCC, has found that emissions from fossil fuels are the main driver of global warming. So in 2018, 89% of total greenhouse carbon emissions were caused by fossil fuels and industries. So coal is a common use of fossil fuels, and it is the dirtiest of them all. So it is 0.3 Celsius increase of the 1 Celsius increase to our global average temperature. So this makes it the single largest source of total global increase in temperature. The use of public transportation and other alternatives are a plan to decrease this because it will cut down on the use of these fuels and lower the average temperature. So oil releases a huge amount of carbon when it's burned, and it approximately accounts for 1/3 of the total global carbon emissions. And this can be decreased if government and businesses are made to come up with new technologies and alternatives that will decrease the use of oil. So not only do the burning of fossil fuels increase climate change, but the use of intensive agricultural activities do as well. So the next few points are based on the World Future Council website, and it says that the increase in intensive agricultural activities is increasing the dangerous effects of climate change. So agriculture in general is the cause of the nature part of climate change. So it is approximately 14% of the total greenhouse gas emissions in our world. But organic farming can be a plan for this because there are so many standards that have to be completed in organic farming. So this will decrease the amount of machinery because it takes longer to fulfill these standards. So machinery-intensive farming methods contribute to the increase in carbon in our atmosphere because this is the use of pesticides, fertilizers, and chemicals to boost the yield of agriculture. But it's also the machinery in aiding the planting, the picking, and the chemical application. So machinery used on our environment is an increase to climate change, but the land use of our world and the destruction of our land is a main factor as well. So land use causes climate change. The change in forestry for new farms, factories, are increasing the dangerous effects of climate change. And this is like deforestation, which currently accounts for 18% of the greenhouse gas emissions. And the reforestation is a plan to change this because it will increase the amount of O2, decrease the amount of CO2, and decrease the amount of the total temperature rise. So, the conversion of wildlife to human-specific land uses like farms and factories also play a role. So these factories create gases that hurt the atmosphere and destroy them ultimately. Factory farming approximately accounts for 14.5% of total greenhouse gas emissions. All in all, climate change is the change in temperature and the change in weather patterns over the world because of the destruction of our atmosphere. And nature is a part of this, like I said, but human activity is the main driver for the destruction of these exact 7 layers. So the burning of fossil fuels, the intensive agricultural activity, and land use are all factors of our world being damaged overall. So according to the annual global carbon budget, the Earth has returned to pre-pandemic carbon levels, but that is increasing more and more every single day. So our beautiful planet is only has like about 11 years left, and because of this, people are going to be able to see the unchangeable and unavoidable damage we have already caused. Thank you.